Go one more. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Hello, good morning. So I found this reading last week from a Facebook post that Monty Whaley had shared, which many of you who've been here a while remember. She used to be a member in this congregation. Just hi in case she's watching. I don't know if she watches or not, but I told her I was going to steal this and use it today. So it's a writing that was posted by an artist named Matt Moberg, and I looked up a little bit about him after I found this post. He's a self-taught artist based in Minneapolis whose journey into the world of art began as a means of staying alive. After years of struggling with addiction, Matt's therapist suggested that when the cravings next come on, he should try art as a way of pushing back and saying no. Despite having no history in the field, Matt heeded his therapist's advice and found new life through doing so. He is currently the team chaplain for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So this poem, or this writing that he had posted, accompanies his painting. The painting is titled "Thank You." I think every human being eventually has a moment where they are standing outside in sweatpants that have lost the will to be pants, holding a trash bag, a divorce, a parking ticket, or some other receipt from the universe that says, surprise, this too is part of it. And the sky bruises purple and the air touches your face like it knows your whole story. And suddenly you realize all of the real is actually unreal. The dirt, the breath, the weird little bones in your hands, the fact that we are here on a floating rock with pollen counts, paying bills, missing dead people, loving living people who say leaving now while still fully naked and looking for socks. And still, the moon clocks in. No applause, no benefits. No note from management saying, great work, being ancient and luminous again. Just the moon working nights like a single mother with no applause, packing silver lunches for every dark thing that still has to rise. Tell me that isn't holy. Tell me there's a better word than sacred. For the way light keeps returning with no guarantee we will actually stop and take note. I know people who believe in therapy, probiotics, tarot, 12-step meetings, manifestation journals, and waiting exactly 11 minutes before texting back so they do not appear emotionally available, even though their whole nervous system is standing in the driveway holding flowers. And underneath all of it, every ritual, every doctrine, every smoothie with chia seeds, the prayer is the same. Please let me be loved. Please let me be forgiven. Please let this strange little life mean something before my lower back submits its formal resignation. What is going on? For real though, what is this place? This unbearable tenderness of being alive long enough to watch steam lift from coffee in the winter, like a soul practicing leaving. To see your friend laugh so hard they slap the table, as if joy is a mosquito they are trying to kill. To hear a child say Pischetti, and for one shining second realize language has finally been improved. I know I already noted this in the first piece, but the older I get, the less use I have for certainty. Certainty has never made me pull over because the sunset looked like God dropped a jar of peach jam across the whole Midwestern sky and decided to be lazy and not clean up. Certainty has never made me gasp at rain on a hot pavement. Certainty has never found me in the cereal aisle holding Captain Crunch, suddenly remembering that everyone I have ever loved was made from stardust, hunger, and a series of decisions we probably should have slept on. No, it has always been awe. Awe was the first church. Before steeples, before committees, before men got involved and started making rules about skirts. Awe was there with its wild hair and muddy feet, saying, look, look again. Look until looking becomes love. Awe and soup. Awe and someone rubbing your back when you are sick. Awe and old couples at Target arguing gently about avocados. As if marriage is not one vow, but 10,000 errands performed beside the person who knows exactly how you like the cart pushed. Maybe gratitude was never meant to sound elegant. Maybe gratitude sounds like, damn, that woodpecker is trying to beat that tree from itself. Maybe gratitude sounds like, thank you, body, for continuing to drag me through this world, despite the many Slim Jims I have done to you at gas stations. Maybe gratitude sounds like, thank you to the dogs who lose their entire minds when we come home, as if we have returned from war and not Walgreens. For me, that might be my gospel, that joy does not wait for us to be impressive, but only needs us to come through the door. Because the truth is, this life is devastating and ridiculous. 1 minute, you are 22 and invincible, driving too fast, eating gas station nachos with the confidence of a Greek god. The next minute, you are Googling, can sneezing cause a hamstring injury?
It does.
And the answer is, apparently, welcome to the second half of your life. But even now, even tired, even grieving, even emotionally held together by iced coffee, playlists, and one very specific hoodie, we keep finding reasons to stay soft. We plant tomatoes, even though grief is real. We bake bread, even though the news is on fire. We send photos of the sky to people we love with captions like, look, as if beauty is an emergency and we are all volunteer firefighters. We keep saying, you have to see this, because wonder is the oldest form of resurrection. So here's to the believers and the atheists and the agnostics and the people whose entire theology is just trying not to cry in the DMV line. Here's to the people clinging to faith. Here's to the people clinging to Xanax and oat milk and the one group chat where nobody pretends to be okay. Here's to the tender-hearted weirdos, the accidental mystics, the ones who can contemplate mortality for 6 straight hours and then become emotionally attached to a perfect peach. The ones who know despair has a mouth, but so does laughter. May we never stop being drop-kicked by beauty in the middle of a Sunday afternoon. May we never become so polished that we forget how to stand in the Starbucks line of existence with our dumb, gorgeous hearts open, feeling the enormity of it all, rattle around in our bones like thunder looking for somewhere to laugh. And may we remember whatever else this is, whatever mess, whatever miracle, whatever cosmic group project no one was prepped for, all of it is astonishing that we are here, that we have loved enough to be ruined, that the moon keeps showing up, that bread exists. So pass it on. Tear off a piece with your bare hands. Take it in as you take it down. And then go outside and look at that moon.
Thank you, Sarah. My way of thanking all of you is to talk about the hidden and not so hidden work of United Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Do you ever wonder who makes sure there's toilet paper, soap, and towels in the bathroom here at church? I don't know who does that. Do you ever wonder who empties the dishwasher when it's done? Because they must come back to church because no one stays here till 5 o'clock. Do you ever wonder who shovels the sidewalk in front of the church and makes sure the parking lot is clear for us? Today, I would like to thank all of you for the hidden work you do and the not so hidden work you do. On Sundays, I am thankful to someone or many who unfurl the flag, open the doors before we arrive, turning on the heat and air conditioning, weeding the garden, shoveling the snow, cutting the grass, watering the flowers, filling the brochure shelf in the hall, making name tags, collecting visitor information and following up with them, collecting boots and coats and mittens for those who need, asking for food for a food drive, asking for calendars and cards for those who can use it. That's a top shelf in the wardrobe area. Straightening the chairs before service, making the hymnal shelves look neat, playing beautiful music, singing together, the choir, sharing the plate contributions, collectors of the offering, services put together every Sunday, messages from our Reverend Jim, messages from our guest speakers, streaming the services live, transferring the services to YouTube, cleaning the bathrooms, supplying the bathrooms with necessities, making the bathrooms safe with safety bars, supplying the RE program with their weekly needs, adding books to our libraries, vacuuming, washing the floors, making sure the chairlift works, making coffee, hosting the coffee hour, cleaning up after coffee hour, taking the trash home, coming back midweek to empty that dishwasher, emptying the humidifier, emptying the leaves from the gutter, seeing our new sign on the building, who put that up, for the work and commitment, and that was my Sunday thank yous. Now, for the work and commitment that all of you do, both here and elsewhere, that I don't know about, that we as a congregation don't know about, I am thankful for the Social Justice Council, the care team, visiting shut-ins, phone calls to those who need a friendly voice, Sophia, Dances of Universal Peace, Buddhist study group, agnostic study group, journey group, chalice circles, not just ladies' night out, circle suppers, Threads United, RE, the finance committee, marketing, the auction team, building and grounds, communication with us through emails that we get regularly. I'm grateful for the past, present, and future board members. I'm grateful for your daily lives and all the interactions that you show others out in the world, what you use are like, who we are. And I'm also thankful for you always sharing. I'm thankful for you sharing your children through the years, your time here at church with each other before and after the services began. I'm thankful for the time of fellowship during coffee hour where we get to catch up and stay connected. And I'm thankful for your acceptance of me and all who walk into this church. Thank you.
One of the things I'm most thankful about our congregation is that we all have a story that brought us here. As most of you know, our family's been here about a year, but I've probably had 24 or more conversations with each of you. And it's really fascinating and encouraging to hear how all of our stories are so similar yet dissimilar, and we have this common bond of things that brought us here. And once we found this space, in some ways, it just kind of clicked. So I thought for my way of saying thank you to all of you, I would share my story through a poem that I wrote earlier this week. You guys can judge whether I'm a good poet or not. This one is called Where Questions Lead. I grew up in a Catholic family of 8. Little did I know that wouldn't be my fate. I always questioned things from a ripe young age. In Sunday school, however, they just turned the page. When my days were numbered at the end of high school, my parents pulled me aside and called me a fool. I was visiting other churches to see what was out there. A reasonable choice. Don't you think that's fair? Instead of accepting what my parents had handed me, I realized for myself I had to break free. For me, the Catholic Church wasn't sitting so well, but at the prospect of choosing another, they said I'd be going to hell. In college, I continued to question and look at other options, but church after church was just a temporary adoption. Years later, I joined the military and accepted Christ as my Savior. It truly changed my life at that time, including my own behavior. It wasn't long after that ministry was calling, a feeling in my stomach that wouldn't stop gnawing. A purpose and direction were now in my life, and if that wasn't all, I also found a wife. Next, I went to seminary to get my degree, 3 years of rigorous studies with Uncle Sam making it free. I also began church planting with a mission organization. I was also complementarian, so my wife understood subordination. We wrestled with gender roles inside our marriage and eventually agreed that men don't have to drive the carriage. Post-grad school, I became a pastor, but that didn't last long due to a real-life disaster. My sister died at the age of 42, which made our family change our direction anew. After caring for those who were left behind, I began to rethink and refocus my mind. Our next stop in ministry was to the Far East, to a country called Japan, where they knew Jesus the least. But just as our family began to settle in, a friend's coming out brought doubt within. After months of wrestling with an affirming view, our stance had changed on LGBTQ. The response from our agency was to get in line, and if we said no, we had to resign. Our choice was clear, to do what was right, and with that decision came another long flight. Back in the States, we started from scratch, trying to find a church where our new views would match. And if this transition wasn't hard enough, our ministry supporters made it even more tough. We implored our Christian friends to have an open discussion, but to them we were just a noisy gong, a misguided percussion. 2 years in a progressive church were definitely healing, but eventually I couldn't shake this growing feeling. They were preaching what was right in this liberal joint, but if you're not actually doing it, what is the point? Those 2 years for me were a time of yearning, but also a time of study, reading, and learning. Books and podcasts were extremely informative, and I realized my faith was simply performative. I had to accept what I knew to be true, that this space was a place I simply outgrew. I next began a brand new search that led me to an interesting church. They had this little slogan, United Beyond Belief, that for me was refreshing, a sense of relief. I'll never forget what happened that fateful first day when Jennifer B. had something profound to say. For those seeking answers, may you find more questions, a phrase and remedy for my spiritual indigestion. What followed were months of a new kind of song, a place where you mustn't believe to belong. I had finally found a people who did more than just talk, a congregation of purpose, one that walked the walk. So thank you, United, for being just that. You're so much more than just a welcome mat. I don't do much praying these days, but if I did, I'd like to speak directly to our inner kid. The world is broken. The world is broken, that much is true. But it can also change, and change through you. You're not too young and you're not too old to practice your version, your flavor of bold. We all have talents and passions in spades. The challenge is not to keep it in, trapped and afraid. So I'll make a promise if you do too. Demonstrate your thanks by being a person of do. Thank you.
Mike. He's on it. First, as board chair, I want to also thank the board. We have a wonderful group of people. You all pretty much know what we do. This is a service for you because there's so much that you do. Today, we're thankful for you and what you bring to our church. Your spirit, talents, generosity, imagination, and dedication reaffirm our fellowship and create our beloved community. Our heartfelt thanks to you on this day and for all days to come. Where there was a need, you came forward. And so I thank you. In the nighttime or daytime, on weekends, and even in the coldest, darkest part of the year, you helped.
And so I thank you.
Quietly, anonymously, and unbidden, you did what needed doing.
And so I thank you.
Sometimes with the help of many hands, other times alone, you worked.
And so I thank you.
You gave your time, talent, and even your treasure for the life of the congregation.
And so I thank you.
Your families and loved ones supported you in your efforts, worried for you when things piled up, and perhaps grumbled at you for the extent of your commitment.
And so we thank your families and loved ones.
For all things, great and small, you have given this congregation. We take this time today to thank you all and to honor you.